Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is our first episode ever of Live Wires, getting to connect with many people that's in the sports science field, athletes, coaches, uh, SNCs or strength and conditioning coaches, for those who don't know what SNC means. But this platform essentially is just to educate a lot of people who are tapped into the sporting environment, trying to enhance their skills, their thinking abilities of how to create certain dynamics in their programs or outlooks on life. Essentially, our topics are not mainly just focusing on how to bench press properly and things like that, but it's just essentially to give a better understanding, if I can say, on how we
holistic approach.
Implement things in a sports science environment. Also tapping into athletes' mentality. Today, our fantastic guest, none other than Mr. Keenan Watson himself. He's been my mentor for for the past 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Jeez, I can't believe it's been that long. 21, yeah. We studied together in our third year.
Yeah.
And ever since I met him in person after COVID, he's just been a fantastic inspiration to where I want to be in life as a strength and conditioning coach. I give him all the honor for this show. So glad you could make the time. Finally. But Mr. Watson, tell us about yourself. What are you doing now? Where are you? Go for it.
Thanks, Jody, for having me today. So obviously, in the field of sports science, right? Senior practitioner in the field, and I'm currently working at the University of the Western Cape in the high performance unit there. So my responsibilities are here to run the performance and fitness programs of all the teams. So that's basically it's just a nice word for senior strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah.
Head of strength and conditioning. So everybody labels differently nowadays just to sound more valid.
Yeah.
But
which other sporting teams are you currently working with now?
Yeah, so in the past I've worked with a lot of teams. So eventually when the 8 years ago when the program started at UWC, the high performance program started, I worked with basically 6 out of the 8 high performance codes.
Okay.
Just to implement the system, and that's
a lot.
It's a lot. I mean,
it's a lot. How do you even focus on so much things? I mean, I'm only working with one sporting code, and I'm really
Yeah, and it's tough because I mean, it was basketball male females, it was football females, football males.
Yeah.
It was hockey. Which you're driving now, males and females.
Yeah. Shout out to my PT.
Was athletics.
What?
Yeah. Who else? The only sports that I didn't work at that point in time, up until 2021, was rugby and cricket. I still haven't got an opportunity to work with cricket.
Yeah.
But with rugby, I worked with him with the 2021, 2022 campaign.
Okay.
Just after COVID, just directly after COVID, we did quite well with him. And then eventually, because of netball. Yeah, that's the big one. We achieved a lot there.
I can imagine,
So, and then, but it was a process, it's like what was challenging for me in that time was just convincing everybody that you need the system,
like a bit of buy-in. And it's always the fight.
Yeah, and I mean everybody struggles with it. Even the best in the world struggles with it. You can just go and read up on their studies, and they will tell you.
Yeah,
man, we're struggling. Not directly like that, but in the writing, they will tell you that this is the challenge that they have, the limitations that they have.
Before we see that final result of amazing teams in the gym, and those amazing videos that they do, but 100%. No one says it took 3 years just for us to get so many people 100%. Invested in the program.
Exactly, and I think it was a big mind shift from where in the past a coach had to do everything, and now all of a sudden there's a system, and that coach obviously is going to feel a little bit less valid or valued.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, if we just understand, UC just understands that value.
Yeah.
Actually, when they came to realization that, hey, we're still driving success, we're still driving the program. It's just like our responsibility is so much more less. So the mental load is down. The decision maker is informed because there's a team around you.
Correct.
And when everybody discusses it or do your end of year discussion, you would see that we actually have everybody, these different people being accounted for.
Yeah.
Moving from there, last year we started a nice program. We eventually moved in to build out the S&C department, and that was my biggest achievement in the program. Not winning USA 7, not qualifying for A divisions in USA, not developing national athletes, because that's something that can always happen, whether that person is with you or not. But what stood out for me was, or my greatest achievement in that department was being able to set up a program with no budget. And
that is tough.
It's very tough. Because we had to upskill ourselves, right? So we had to upskill, and then we need to come up with a plan, or we had to come up with a plan and say, how am I going to get future SNCs or sports science
what you have right now
to what I have right now? How am I going to look at continuity of this program? Because if any one of the experts leaves, there's 5 people or 3 people leaving in terms of capacity, with that one person leaving. But how do we build continuity so whenever any senior would step out, that person can not become senior but continue filling in that role? Because what is seniority?
Someone who like leads by example and like leaves almost like a trail behind, so that the others who fall in, they can understand the system a bit better and follow nicely. So it's almost like you're leaving a legacy
100.
for those that's still coming, and you're teaching them like, hey, this is the way, so that if I step out the program or the environment still continues that, or even grows even further.
100%. So that was the complete goal, is like to set up people at that same level, but give them the space to grow. And not be like, hey, it has to be like this, it has to be like this. Because sport in general is flexible. There's no system that says it has to be like this.
One way.
It's just like, focus. It has to be flexible, and that's where bringing in youngsters and bringing youngsters with the same mindset to be able to grow. To be able to unlearn what they've learned over the past few years and then relearn the new things and where the world of sport is moving to.
Correct.
In terms of collaborating. Because, if you work in a silo, you're going to fall through the cracks. You're going to burn out. And that's what we tried to prevent. And that was the great achievement, because we went from not being able to service all the codes to service all the high performance codes and more.
They were taking a lot in the
and we achieved so much more.
Correct.
And we achieved the culture of high performance. And that's a struggle with coming from a university where there was previous disadvantage. The system is just totally different. And to be able to compete against the best universities in the country with limited resources.
Phenomenal.
And changing the culture in it. That was amazing to see and amazing to happen. And also to bring in you guys and see how you guys have grown.
You're 100%.
At the end of the day, it's like sometimes I stand and I'm like, okay, cool. Well done. My capacity was limited, but seeing that and you explaining me how you've changed it, but the same outcomes of an approach. It's just just to see that growth, man.
But this is all leadership. So you told me everything that I needed to know to be here, essentially. So it's my job to constantly upskill myself instead of just taking your advice and then say, no, this is it. I have to come up with like new things, because the same as you leading me, I have to lead the other people
100
is watching me. It's not like, okay, I need to say on my game, I need to come with you. Like, hey, look at this new research. Can we do this? Is it better? Outcomes from this? And that essentially is what I'm doing. Hopefully, I am another one.
And that's how it continues. That's how you build that culture. of excellence,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And and through that, and what assisted me through that process, Jody, was my masters that I'm doing at Atlanta now,
Okay.
performance coaching, right?
Yeah.
And they just expanded my knowledge in
Yeah.
terms of, and I mean like hundredfold. Like it is really a game changer.
Mm.
And I'm not promoting anything.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm-
100%. Yeah.
what I'm saying
It's
is
a
that
budgetless podcast.
yeah.
We hope so. Also, this guy's been very, very modest right now. I'm just gonna bring 3 accolades out over the past month, if I may.
Ah, man.
Firstly, he's training an Olympic, almost champion. But he competed at the 2024 Olympics that was in Paris. His name is Gaudio Isaacs. He trains under Keenan Watson in the high performance environment. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal athlete.
Not his
Hopefully,
coach, he's performance coach.
that's what I said, in the high performance
in the high
environment.
performance,
Yeah. I'm very critical of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to cross barriers. Yeah, I don't want to cross barriers. He's an amazing athlete. Hopefully, one day we can get him on the show as well. Also, this past weekend was the ASA National Trials, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And how many athletes were there from you?
A lot. It was Naim Jack.
Naim Jack's 17 years old. He just became the fastest flat surface running person.
Yeah, so he's the first hurdler to go 10.0 and 20.1. Yeah, 20.1 and then 10.0 on 100 meters.
Yeah, he's a hurdler.
And he's 110 youth the junior hurdler.
17, that's crazy.
That's
they come from your hands?
Yeah, it's a teamwork process.
It is a teamwork.
Collaborative process. It's not just one person.
He's staying with Coach PJ, if I'm not mistaken.
Jacobs.
Yeah. Amazing guy.
Brilliant guy.
Amazing
very
guy.
humble. If you are out there and you are looking for it's been in northern suburbs, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the northern suburbs, Durbanville side. So, if you're out there and you're looking for either hurdler, sprinter, jumpers, where you know your child has a talent, contact Coach Paul. He's the Paul Jacobs.
So our topic for today, actually, on the core idea was something that I presented him with a query that was on my mind, and we were talking, and we came about a topic for today, which was the discipline of being alone.
Yeah.
And this ties into a lot of athletes or non-athletes who sort of struggle with the notion of being around a team or around a type of supportive structure that's always there for them to depend on. And the moment that team structure is taken away, they struggle to continue that momentum on their own.
100. What's the expectations of athletes?
Correct, because now we expect, but I had a team and we did this and that. And the minute we're alone, we sort of lost, we become despondent. And let's chat about that.
Yeah.
Chat about that. How do you find this type of topic? Maybe if you want to relate it to yourself or teams that you worked with.
It's quite interesting, really. And then the thing is, the reason why I say it means focusing so on expectations is that the moment an athlete achieves a great performance, the expectation is that the world needs to change for them. But then you need to remember, for example, when you're in athletics, right? When you're in athletics and you're an excellent performer in athletics, and you're coming through the ranks, you youth, junior, into senior, and you're excellent. But you're not ranking in the top 3. Or you're ranking in the top 3, but it's not that performance doesn't qualify you for the world champs. It doesn't qualify you for the diamond league. You're still an amateur athlete and you're an intern to the sport. And people think that because they have achieved this great thing, agents going to come and run. And that's the expectation that I'm putting on. That's the frustration. Despite focusing on your discipline and saying, okay, I didn't achieve that. Nobody signed me this year. I didn't qualify this year for the world champs or any other bigger competitions. But I'm representing my country at intercontinental competitions. And what is that process? Is that you go back to what you've done before that great achievement. You need to go back to what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
And so that's the expectation, and that's the frustrating part because all of a sudden your focus changes.
Mm.
Your focus changes to your process.
Yeah.
I mean, you are touching a little bit of what's to come, and you're all over the place. Your focus changes to the external rewards and not the internal reward anymore because competing for you was the internal reward, and you didn't even expect any external rewards. Why is the narrative changing? And that is the struggle that a lot of, but it's also the environment we're in, the competitive environment.
It is.
That instant gratification generation, and that is, that's the expectation. It's like people are speaking about money, money, money. Yes, money makes the world go round, but what's that internal reward or achievement that you have deep down inside of you? You lose that, you lose everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man, but for those who don't know, I do compete in a combat sport called
he's also
karate.
He's also humbling
but Keenan, this is not about me. As you can see, the camera's on you. And I recently I came back from a camp that was in Egypt. For about 6 weeks, I was there just diving into the culture of how the world champions, because Egypt's one of the best countries in the world to produce a lot of world champions in the span of, let's say, 10, 15 years. And just being in that environment, in that environment was so different and so focused. I mean, you wake up, you eat, you train 2-3 hours, whatever. You come back, you have gym, you sleep, you train. Next morning, you're training every single day to the point where I was sleeping and I'm constantly thinking I'm training and my body's going.
You switch on.
And the environment is so, how can I say, not toxic in a bad way, but where the coach, he pushes you to your max, and once you reach your max, he takes you even further. There's always a new height every single day. And I was just like, geez, like I've never experienced that type of level of reaching it ever. And the minute I came back to South Africa, man, my mindset was totally different. I approached my first comp here like I was in that zone. I was like, okay, Flip, I must do this, I must do that, I must do that. And the fighting became so easy because my ability to read so much faster now is like so crazy because the coach installed that discipline. The repetitions that you do 15 groups of 8 or 15 reps of 8 sets, and it's like all the time and it's just the discipline. Or every day it's discipline. You're tired, you must push. You want the result, you must push. So it sort of gave me that self-discipline so that when I'm on my own, I need to be able to do this.
At that intensity.
Correct. Now the problem was that because the level is not as good as Egypt in South Africa. The problem now is carrying that same motivation and environment to the training facilities of where I go to. And the big problem is that a lot of our players are not driven with discipline on their own. In a team environment, okay, fine, we're in a team and we can shout, we can sing, but the minute you take them out of that environment, okay, how many hours are you putting in alone? You want this goal, okay, how much work ethic are you, like, what is your work rate like? And this is a big struggle that we sort of trying to fix in South Africa, hopefully. But how this ties into our discussion is that because I've been in South Africa now since March, end of Feb, that environment of high intensity is sort of decreasing and the motivation becomes a little bit less now because I know, okay, I have to train alone.
100.
I have to do this alone. And we were talking, and I was talking with my coaches as well, and they were saying that they understand that this problem is very big and it's very bad because it's tough to navigate yourself alone when you compete against an environment that's changing all the time.
Exactly.
But they say that you have to be disciplined and motivated enough to just train the basics to your max. So that when you have the opportunity of partners, there's nothing
restricting you
in terms of errors that we need to now focus on even more. And this is where the discipline alone now comes because I have to take it upon myself. Okay, I know this sucks, but discipline is important. Discipline is important. Train the basics.
Exactly.
But this is what I've been struggling with, and we're having this channel. Like, Flip, this is something that I need to push myself even further to just
Yeah.
become more disciplined on my own.
That's the thing, and that's the important thing is that when even in a team environment, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, made an example earlier that if a fullback is the number one and the fullback that's up and coming is not thinking that approach, yes, it's in a team environment, but it's still individual.
100%.
So
Because you're
the
trying to
main-
play for a position.
Exactly. So the mental growth, right? The mental resilience, not just the mental resilience, but the physical resilience,
Yeah.
the physiological resilience. That development is you need to build that yourself because you can't go say I'm better than the number one, but you have nothing to prove for it. You understand? And when you
Yeah.
get your opportunity, you crumble because your team is not around you.
Yeah.
So individually, you need to build those skills until you are confident enough to take on a whole team and beat the number and then the number one selected 15 in the country.
From your basics that you've been drilling over and over and over and over.
And it's repetition. And it's lonely.
Yeah.
You know, because in a team you feel good about it, but it takes that discipline of what are you gonna do on your own.
Self-evaluation, man.
Exactly. Reflect. Did I take this box? I didn't take this box. So what am I gonna do? Tomorrow morning I'm at 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. I'm gonna take my 5 kilometer jog. After that, I'm gonna do my kicking, my tactical kicking. After that, I'm gonna hit the gym. You know, small things. And I think we're not, and that will relate to like more to performance, will carry over to performance, but mentally you'll be at a different level to the one that's not doing anything.
Because he's comfortable in his environment now with the team, and it's like, he's the best.
Exactly. It's like taking an approach where you just go 100% today, 100% today, 100% today. But now, tomorrow you go, this is an example, right? So then you go a 1% further than the 100%. At the end of the year, you're 36.5% better. We, as a person that goes 100% every day, still at 100%.
Yeah. He hasn't surpassed if he can go past 100%.
Exactly. So, and I mean, it doesn't make sense. Like, it won't make sense to the people that you know, like, hey, well, what are you talking about? But if you just be 1% better than your opponent, at the end of the year, you're going to be 36.5% better than your opponent.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally,
100%.
spiritually.
Yeah.
So, somewhere you're going to be excelling better than your opponent. And that is what we don't realize. Because now we're frustrated. We go season after season after season, and we're like, we're stuck in a rut. We're just doing the same thing over and over and over. But you're not chasing excellence just by being 1% better.
Yeah.
Just by showing up earlier.
Yeah.
Being the last person to leave.
Changing your attitude.
Yeah. Cleaning up the environment. If your teammates have, or your coaches or your training partners, leave things on the track or leave things in the cloakroom.
Yeah.
You changing your mentality.
Correct. It's the small things.
And so true. And that's the discipline of being alone. Because those are the things people don't see. You understand? You're alone in that process. But at the end of the day, the world sees you. 7 billion people sees you.
Yeah.
But nobody saw how you change yourself.
Correct.
Internally and externally. Because externally you can see it. Yeah, guys getting bigger, guys getting faster, but internally, they don't know what spiritual is happening there.
Yeah.
You understand?
How much frustrations you must go through every morning just to force yourself to wake up, to eat properly, to go to the gym, to go to class. It's such a frustration, but it's called discipline for a reason, man.
Exactly.
Because when that opportunity of high pressure environment comes, you can rise to that occasion with ease because you've already put in that amount of work to match that type of intensity in that environment.
Exactly.
And it just takes consistency. Even if you sleep in the gym, just come.
Just come, bro.
Because you're there, you made the effort.
Exactly.
You know?
They'd rather do something than do nothing.
Correct. Don't delay.
Don't delay. But then again, rest and recovery is also part of that.
100%.
You know, sleep is the most, and probably don't quote me on this.
Yeah.
But sleep is the most legal sport enhancement that's there. I mean, studies have proven it. 5 to 6 hours of sleep, the testosterone levels are down. You know, your brain fog is building up.
Yeah.
You can't your cognitive abilities, your hand-eye coordination is off. Your motor ability is off. Motor skills is off. But 7 to 8 hours of sleep,
Perfect
this is
cycle.
perfect cycle, right? And that is, I'm not gonna, we that's a topic for
Yeah,
for the next episode.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can
The
delve
next
into sleep and
Yeah.
the person and the hormonal changes and
Correct,
things like that
correct.
brings in. But if you can't sleep, how can you perform?
Correct.
You can show all the testing the best. I'm the fastest on test days. On the field, I'm training my ass off. But sorry, PG-13.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll put it nice.
So and I'm training my butt off on training days. But when it comes to game days, I'm so depleted. Why? Because you have accumulated fatigue. Because Saturday you're gonna sleep proper, Sunday you're gonna sleep proper, Monday you're back to normal. You feel fresh. You're emptying your tank again.
Yeah.
Same routine, 5-6 hours of sleep, not eating properly. You're not replenishing nutrition, and then you expect
Yeah.
And I'm speaking from a point where it's coming from a point of experience, where I have seen an athlete training his butt off, but he's not eating properly. He's sleeping properly, but he's not eating properly. So that element in his training, in his performance system, is not non-existent.
Correct.
You understand? Now I'm like, but I have my protein shakes. I'm doing this, but are you eating your macros for that day's performance? You understand?
Everything you put in your body must match what's going to happen in that session or for that week. Whether it's sleep, nutrition, anything that you do, it has to match what you're doing.
Exactly.
You play chess, okay, fine. Take whatever amount of hours you sleep. But obviously, there's a certain level that you reach where your brain needs to be functioning on a high level. So, okay, Flip, in order to get that, I need good sleep.
Exactly.
Simple.
Yeah, and stay off the blue screen. I mean,
I'm
preaching it. It's one of my things that I need to work on.
Yeah.
Like staying off your phone. Phone is the biggest thing.
Rather read a book or look up into the ceiling until you fall asleep.
You understand? Like, I promise you, like, if there's 8 hours in a day, we basically 8 hours on campus on a day. But the amount of time we're on our phone trumps basically our productivity.
Yeah.
Like, we have 30 minutes of productivity and 4 hours on our phone. I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, not me when I'm at work, not. But I mean, like, that's like coming up now. Like, that's why we can't focus anymore. And that's in, like, if you have deep focus work, you feel so good about yourself, and the discipline comes with the
correct. Yeah.
You know, so I'm not saying don't use your phone during the day, but what I'm saying is discipline yourself.
Correct.
Not to unnecessary reach out. It's an addiction, right? It's an addiction.
100%.
It's like same as smoking.
Yeah.
The moment you put in a toothpick in there, you don't smoke anymore because you unlearning those things. And all of a sudden,
the bad habits.
You know, the bad habits.
100%.
So obviously with the chemical, the nicotine and the tar, that's addictive as well. But it makes the process easier. And that is a discipline of being alone. It's like you need to put things in place that makes it easier and not lose sight of the end goal. Because it's nice. Soft life is nice. I understand, but you're losing certain things through soft life by not implementing it, by not chasing that 1%.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's
just discipline, man. That 1% takes so much. Like, I work with many athletes, and the minute that they have a pain, like in their leg, for instance, I say, okay, before I say don't come to training, I'll just ask a simple question: are you stretching? No, I don't have time. It's okay. How many hours a day do you spend on your phone? No, I don't really. Okay. When you eat, are you watching a Netflix show or are you watching TV with a family? No, I just sit there. I say, okay.
You're on your phone.
Like you can really see the answers. I am on my phone. Yeah. I say, okay. Next time you're on your phone, put an episode of whatever you like on the ground. Watch it, but stretch.
Yeah.
Spend that same 20 minutes,
yes,
but stretch also.
Yeah.
So you can enjoy, but you're obviously not going to be focusing so much on the show, but you can focus. Hey, I need to push this more. Oh, I feel like hectic. I need to close my eyes because it pains.
Yeah.
But You're achieving that extra 1% now while doing your bad habit of now being on your phone. Even before you go sleep, I promise you, 99% of people are on their phone just before they go and sleep.
Exactly.
Take that 5 minutes of looking at whoever you are and stretch.
Just put it to the side.
Put a mobility, someone famous on
yeah.
IG, say, oh, this person does this for glutes. Oh, my glutes is.
Yeah.
Because majority of your pain in athletes that you get, so they're not disciplined to stretch.
Yeah,
they don't stretch. So they come, oh, my knee is pulling. Oh, but you need to be stretching every single day. You train in a high performance environment. You must be stretching.
You must be disciplined to stretch.
Oh, exactly. The discipline of being alone. Don't wait for the team to stretch. Do it on your own. The team will eventually catch eye and be like, oh, flip, guys, we need to stretch. Because you are excelling so much already on your own.
Yeah. Because I always say, like, when our systems, say, let's take 10 years back, 15 years back. I know we're going way back. Right? We didn't have the system that we have now.
Yeah.
Right. And we tried to get the system, but then our mindsets were limited through, or we don't have we have the resources, or we have the experts to give us the resources, but we don't have the finances. Then we got the finances. And our struggle was, now the resources came in, and I wanted implementing the resources. But the one thing that wasn't taught was the buy-in of using the resources. Right? And yes, you can upskill, you can educate it. Again, it's your discipline that's going to allow you whether I am going to use those tools or not. Just by we were doing some I would say informal research, but like this, just like going around asking a few questions and things. And this is from practitioners that's in the field from different universities, and I'm not going to mention any universities and things like that. But what our athletes are currently achieving or receiving is better than mostly funded university systems. And it's simple. It was simply a thing of bringing resources together, right? Providing finances with it, resources, bringing them together, and educating our athletes on what it is. And then after educating, leaving them and holding them accountable to the education.
Oh,
you understand? Because if we didn't check,
that's so true.
If we check boxes, bum. Okay, so then we recheck your boxes when you come in for an assessment.
Correct.
Are you doing this? No. Are you doing this? But didn't you attend that workshop? Yeah. So what more do you want from us in the sense of we're treating you, but you're not implementing your tools that we were given?
There's no discipline.
The moment we started doing that, by holding them accountable, again, the discipline of being alone.
So, it works in any ways of life.
Any ways of life. We saw a decrease in fatigue, a decrease in injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, look how our hamstring injuries decreased in the past.
Yeah, almost none.
It's like there's non-existent. It's like only here and there. There's an outline.
Unless it's like those freak accidents, like impacts and the knee.
And I think a lot of our injuries, our soft tissue injuries, went down just by doing that.
Focusing on the pre-ab, being disciplined, guys. Don't just start. Just do your pre-ab first, and then you can lift the weights. Don't just run to the weights.
And then you can go.
Yeah, and don't rush through it. Yeah. Focus. Oh, it's burning. Why is it burning? Exactly. Your muscles are contracting for a reason. We need to support any load that's gonna get onto that now. 100. So we need to have a basis, correct? The discipline. Exactly. And I fight so much with my hockey ladies to do the exercises properly, but obviously, eventually, the habit takes form, and now. Thankfully, everyone is doing it correctly.
Again, it comes down to
discipline.
Discipline.
Oh,
it's the same thing as you drive. You have this massive drive. Like, tomorrow morning I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna run these 5 kilometers, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna become a 5 kilo. My cardio work is 5 kilometers every day, and I'm gonna go up and up and up. But day 3, I'm tired.
I need to rest.
You understand? But if I get up, I'm committing to myself, and I'm disciplining the process. Friday, I'm going to get up, I'm committing to myself, discipline the process.
Correct.
After 3 weeks, it's 21 days. It becomes so much Yes, your
It's
body's
habit.
tired. It's becoming habit.
Yeah.
You understand? And all of a sudden, you're like, nah, man, 5 kilometers becoming easy. I'm gonna push it 7 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yes, your body's gonna go through that. Oh, I'm tired. I
Yeah.
just push. Okay, bring it down. You're still doing something.
Mm.
So 7 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers, 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I saw people that Jody, like, they can't even jump or run to save their life, but they're running marathons, bro.
Mm.
Just because of they started implementing
Correct.
discipline into their life in that area to achieve that skill of being an endurance runner or endurance competitor, just by showing up every day,
Yeah.
just by being disciplined in the process,
Correct.
and making that decision and sticking to it.
Mm.
And that is what we see in the struggles in our athletes or our environment that we work in general. I mean, when it's on campus, it is off campus in a private capacity. The discipline and the I want to say the discipline and the chase for instant gratification.
Mm.
You know, the discipline is there, but I want to be better tomorrow. That instant gratification. If you just go through the process of it and stay disciplined,
Yeah.
the instant gratification doesn't.
It becomes a thing of I'm rather enjoying this lifestyle of being committed to the discipline because I'm getting more than if I had to stop here because this is where it said I must stop and I achieved. So once you achieved,
Yes.
do you add a comma or do you take away that D because I want to keep achieving, not just achieve that then full stop.
100. And that's what we need to look at. Is like change your mindset and being just disciplined.
Yeah.
If your body can take you for 3 kilometers and you want to run 5 kilometers, walk the other 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
You're still achieving that.
Correct.
You understand? Like you run 3 kilometers and walk back 2 kilometers.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever it is, run or do something as long as you can. As long as you're achieving the goals and taking your time.
Correct.
And disciplining yourself in the process. And I mean, anything is inevitable. You achieve greatness. In my world, I achieved greatness. By being able to train as a subject athlete, train myself, getting a coach, train myself to the point where I became national champ. And that was many years ago. Then I got a coach, and in that process of
one step every single day, just
and it's amazing to see. Like again, I'm gonna make an example of myself, for example. But this was many moons ago. Started training by myself. Didn't have the resources, but I had the drive and the urge and the discipline. Nothing else mattered in my world. The school, done with my homework during the day, boom, go and train. And I knew what was important at the time was like, mom is not gonna be okay if I didn't do my homework. So I won't be able to do this. So I finish my schoolwork, go and do soccer training in the rain, and walk 5 kilometers on your own as a lighty, over the bridge. You see everybody coming back from work. You going to soccer training in the rain. Or you go to athletics training, nobody's there, nobody's putting in the work as a youngster, and then you win national champ, and you get invited to play provincial trials, and then you win nationals, and then you get a coach, and from there you get guidance as a coach from a coach, but you're still doing the things on the side that you're working for because you have internal drive.
Correct.
And I think that is where we sometimes lack this because nowadays is that resources has become so easy. We had none. We had to make a plan. And that's
so we had the discipline of being alone at that time, making use of it so that this becomes just a bonus. Like if we need it, we need it. But if not, we still have that continuation of being still have that discipline, that drive.
And even after winning nationals, right? Winning nationals as a senior champ. I mean, that year when it happened, I think the Hotso Mokwena, I mean, he just won silver. He just won away one gold or silver at the World Indo Champs. He's coming. I'm competing against the number one involved indoors. And yeah, and not phased because I was so disciplined in my process. Nothing phased me. But what happened afterwards, Jody, I must tell you that I I I, I lost the plot of being the best in the world. I mean, I was 20 and I jumped 8 meters 27. For me, it was like that major because I have 10 years more to go. And it's not an easy feat to get there to jump 850, but it's doable because limited resources took me over 8 meters. But the discipline and where I lost the plot was that now the external rewards came. Now funds came in. You were independent from your parents. You're still a student, so nobody actually worried about you whether you do it or not. You heard something. My first year from Italy, South Africa, those type of things. So that's all the external support and reward, but the internal reward wasn't there anymore. I lost the plot because nobody assisted me or helped me with dealing with what's the next step. You've achieved this. You're number one in the country, beaten world level competitor. But what is the next phase for you? What's that internal drive? What is that internal discipline going to teach you? Because you're showing up to training, you're showing up to class, you're doing the same excellent thing, but what's the 1% you're going to do different now? And nobody took me through the process. Inside 3 seasons, I was retired. I was hampered with injuries because I was pushing and pushing and pushing, but there was no process. Because I was chasing the external reward. And I lost the internal reward drive. And that's the discipline of having too much. You understand? Correct. You're chasing so much things. I would rather, if I can go back.
Forgot the core principle of why you started and what you wanted to achieve in the beginning.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
And that's deep. I wouldn't say it's deep, but that's something I don't share with everyone. But it took me some time to heal from the process.
And likely that is happening with a lot of players today. They were disciplined enough to get to a certain level.
Yes.
The minute the environment changed for them, where they had a team and they started to depend more, because sometimes the environment forces us to depend more on them. The environment tends to start then withdraw your discipline. Like, don't train too much because you must be here, and don't. Exactly. But you forget, like, flip. Why did I do this? I did this alone, and now I'm depending on so much things, and they're forcing me. You have to stay true to your principle and the discipline.
And the one thing that process also allowed me to do was I lost touch with my spiritual side as well. Understand? The moment that happened, who are you grounded in? There's no one that can say.
You see all these material things and they're nice and they're appealing, and you're just chasing it all the time.
Exactly, and that's idolatry, right? Chasing idolatry now. Because chasing the nice thing, chasing the girls, chasing the weekends out, chasing being acknowledged in public. This
the environment, man. Exactly. It's the environment, they remove that discipline from, and the principle. I guess the discipline comes from having your set principles and sticking to it. But man, Flip, this has been a fantastic journey with Mr. Watson himself, also known as Doc Watson, among few people. But thank you so much for your time, man. It's been a fantastic journey. Hopefully this podcast takes off. With due time, our goal is never just to become famous within the first few shows. It's just to educate, show people that this is what's happening outside of the sporting life, the backgrounds behind it, what we do, what we don't do, how we can motivate certain players or coaches or non-players or non-coaches, and just see if we can create that type of environment of understanding where we are and where we need to be to sort of uplift South Africa.
That's the thing.
That's the main thing.
We want to change the kid. We don't want to change the curriculum. We want to enhance the curriculum.
Better the system. This is always the goal.
Better the system, because that's the most important thing. And I probably think the next session will be, or one of the podcast sessions will be me interviewing you.
Then the budget comes in. I'm expensive host.
Joking. So yeah, and I think our process is taking every discipline that allows performance to happen and exposing it on this platform here.
100%, 100%. It applies to someone out there.
Yeah, how to get there. How to be a good practitioner versus how to be a bad practitioner. How to be a how to level up your sports science skills in terms of data analysis and data visualization, reporting,
correct.
Player reporting and things like that. That's also part of the platform.
Yeah,
we would love to.
And the thing is, because we are so blessed to have so many hats in the field, it's not in the sense of we are attacking people. It's just in the sense of you don't need to be like qualified to only know this one thing. It applies to so much in how you think, your perception of how you do things, and it can change your life for so much better results in the future. But we are going on a rampage, and this always happens. We just keep going, keep going. Mr. Watson, thank you so much for your time and your effort. It's been amazing. This has been another episode, our first episode of Live Wires, getting connected with fantastic people like this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the button. If not, just ask your friend if they've seen the video.
Spread the word.
WhatsApp status, go nuts. If you don't want to share it, that's okay.
And you have any questions, I mean, if you have any
please comment below whatever questions you have or that you need to know about. This will be
topics.
Anything you want to hear, just shoot it out. We are open platform, open to anything, discussions. Just open your heart to us. Not in that way.
I'm married.
Not in an emotional state. But anyway, thanks so much, guys. See you on the next time, on the next show.
God bless.
Yeah.